So there's going to be a bunch of relaxing. If you want a blankie, let me know in a little bit when you get one. The first thing that I want to do is something called space for your joints. So we'll just do an experiment where we hold our wrists. So what we're going to do, I'll just do a tiny little run through and try to explain it. While you're holding that, it's about having more breathing space in your body. So when there is more space, there is more capacity for flow. When there is more capacity for flow, our nervous system has more coherence, which means we can hold more. And part of the idea of this holding our joints, which I'm going to go through that today, and lie down and whatever, is about actually paying attention to the joints. So like you hold the wrist, so you can pay attention to the joints. And what we will be doing, and it's not that woo-woo, like this is actually scientifically reviewed stuff, is we're concentrating on it and sending attention to it. So more than it being woo, we go send love to your wrist, which, well, for me, that's true. But we're focusing our attention on, and we're thinking about our little joints as containers that hold energy that can become more spacious. And when we are stressed, everything is tight and there's no space. So if we actually think about hold your elbow and think about that joint and go, let's think about it as a container and making more space. So that's the intention of the exercise. I'm going to read through it. Stuff like this might seem a bit weird to begin with, but after a few weeks you might feel really like and go, oh, my containers are spacious and I have no pain. So, and the reason I'm going to do it is we'll do the first one as is, and then we'll at the end of it spend a bit of time on your own issues. So like you've got a hip pain, you've got a shoulder pain, maybe you can sit there and concentrate on your shoulder having more space. So what I'll do is get you to lie down. I'll let you want a chair, you can get a chair. If you want to sit up, you can sit. So the purpose of working with the joints is different to stretching in that it's not about manipulating them the way that we might in a normal device. Think of your joints like containers that you have in your body. Every single joint. If you look at your knuckles, so even as I'm talking, have a look at your knuckles. There's tiny little joints in your knuckles. You can let go of your wrist for now. Just turn your hand and have a look at your knuckles. There's tiny little joints in your wrist bones. Have a look at the wrist. There's your elbow. So a joint is where two bones meet. And think of it a little more elaborately today. There's an area where there is space. There is potential space. There is room for sensation. Think of it as a space where there is room for our emotion. So even if you have a bad day and you notice that you end up in more pain, have you guys noticed that? Oh yeah, like, yeah. So the reality is our body does store this pain and this sensation. What we're trying to do is make room for it to move around and come out. If you're, obviously you know to tell him to go with Matt, if you don't want kisses on the face, I'm with this. When our joints are not in good flow with one another, so when they aren't good and they're in pain, they don't connect with each other as well. So there isn't good flow. So we end up in more pain. The more stress we're in, the more pain we end up in. And things get a little stuck. So we're about to get started. You can sit or lie down as long as you're comfortable. And what I want you to do is notice your body in relation to the environment. So before we really get into it, just pay attention to your feet and push into the mat, both of you. You can feel your back on the mat. You feel your back is resting on the mat. Feel the weight of gravity holding you to the earth. Feel your head resting on the mat. So the last thing before you get started is to have a look around a little bit and just orient to the room that you're in. So you've come from possibly a busy day, you've found out hard things today, good things though. Have a look to your left, have a look to your right. See if you can just settle into the environment that you're in. So the next thing is to notice your breathing. So try to notice it without changing it. So what we're doing now is try to notice your breathing but without changing it. So notice your breathing. See what happens when you notice it. Sometimes we change it, and the aim of being your body is to be able to notice ourselves without changing it, and then we can pay attention to what's happening so you can work on what needs to be done. So to start to bring attention to your wrists, you can touch them or you can think about them. Do you look at them? How do you want to bring attention to your wrists? You might think about one wrist. So you can bring your right hand to hold your left wrist if you like, or you can do it the other way. You could look at it for a moment. If you're bringing attention to one of your wrists, pay attention to which one wants to be held in a moment. You can explore and feel your left wrist with your right hand. So you can stroke it, you could grasp it. You can just touch the skin of your left wrist. Just do it with a very gentle touch. So did you, yeah. So you can just stroke it to begin with. Just pay attention to the joints. It's not about squeezing it. It's not about massaging it. You could just hold it gently, let it rest in your right hand. You can try to let your body relax. Just let them flop, let your hands flop on your belly, like your left forearm. Well, this is just good moving. You try feeling the wrist gently as if you're holding a raw egg. If you had a raw egg in your hand, how would you hold it so as not to drop it and crush it, but enough that you have a hold on it? So just hold it, grasp it gently and softly. And as you do this, feel your breath. Imagine directing some breath, not to force, but just to direct some breath down into that wrist, into the left wrist. Imagining it's a container that could be filled up with the breath. There's so many ways you can imagine this. You could imagine a stream of water trickling down your arm into your wrist, or even how that water or the breath can move into the hand. So you're still holding your wrist gently and imagining breath send into it. As you notice this, so we're still just gently breathing, holding the wrist, exploring it, but now go to the hand. Feel the bones of the hand in the same way you've been feeling the wrist. The bones of the hand, the bones of the finger, knowing there are little containers in all of those joints. You don't need to know more specifically. As you do this, notice if there's a part of you wondering if you're getting this correctly, get this the right way. And if that's true, it might be true, but if it's true, just notice those thoughts. And I'll say that you're doing this exactly the way you should be. So just trust this holding of your left hand, your left wrist, your left fingers, and then start to explore the skin softly, very softly, as if you've never felt this part of your body before. And it's like this new, incredible experience. It's pleasurable, it's fascinating. Feel the skin, I'll get in a second, even the nails. Can you imagine little containers on the tips of your fingertips and your nails? Having brought attention to the surfaces that you're on, can you bring your focus back to how your body is rested on the yoga mat? Can you notice your feet while you hold your hand, while you feel the joints in your fingers? Where are your feet? Are they on the ground? Are they tucked? Are they pushed? So as you're exploring your hand, your wrist, your fingers, notice how the rest of your body contacts the environment, and then slightly walk your hand up your forearm. Explore it, feel it. Be gentle, not harsh. Be gentle as you walk your fingers up your forearm. You'll walk your fingers up your forearm, you'll feel your muscles. You can pay attention to how the skin feels. Just be gentle. You don't need to grab. It's just a gentle, like you're holding like a raw egg. And notice if your jaw is being held. What are you doing with your jaw? What are you doing with your breath? Find your way up to your elbow. Your left elbow with your right hand. Now, depending on the size of your hands and your elbows, you might be able to clasp your elbow, or maybe you just walk your fingers around the base of the elbow. And you feel the bony part of the elbow, the part that hurts when you hit it. See if you can find a way to cup that elbow. Even if you change the way you're lying, maybe that helps. As I do this right now, it means I bring my arms closer to my core, to my center, and my chest is just above that elbow joint. It looks like I'm trying to stay warm if you see me. But I'm just supporting this elbow with my hand, and my forearms are now in contact with each other. So feel the contact of your forearms against each other. Feel the support that you can give the elbow joint. Imagining again that this joint could be open to receive flow, to receive sensation, to receive breath. Let your breath expand into the elbow joint. Feeling and changing the grip when you need to. You can even move to the front of the elbow. That might feel more relaxing, which would really be the crease of that joint. And again, it's gentle, it's not squeezing, it's just bringing presence, attention, and awareness to this elbow joint. The intention is to imagine it getting bigger and more pliable and more resilient. More space. Notice your breathing. See if there's anything you're holding onto in the throat, or in your eyes, or in your glute muscles, or in your genitals, or in your breath, or your thoughts. And if you are, just notice it and come back to the elbow joint. Can you feel a pulse as you sink more into this and you feel whatever it is that you can feel? Whether there's a pulse that you notice or not. Notice your feet and feel your feet joints. There's lots of joints in your feet, many bones in the foot, just like the hand. So bring attention to the feet while you notice and feel and hold the elbow joint. Maybe there's a desire to move your feet. If there is, follow that impulse and do so. So let your arms do what they want. If you want to let go of your left elbow, if you want to let go of your arm, it's up to you. You can let the other hand have a break. Just try to track, sense, scan, whatever word you want to use, the sensations on the left side. So you could totally relax your body and see if you can notice, as we have done before, if your side that you're just nurturing feels any different. So see if there's any difference in your body now. Just pay attention to your breath and see if one part feels more relaxed than the other. Is there any difference between the left and right? Obviously, the one that was being held had the tension brought to it. The other one was exploring. So the other hand was still active in a different way, because the other side was being more passive. So before we finish, I encourage you to rest your hand or bring attention to the part of the body that is usually sore. So it might be your hip. You can put both hands on the hip, the joint that is sore, or the shoulder, the joint that is sore. It might be someone's neck. But if you rest your hands on where your body is sore right now, I want you to imagine that that area that is sore is a little container and it's able to breathe into, and you can focus your breath there. You don't need to change your breath. Just gently think about sending your breath there and making space in that area of your body so that there is more room for flow. I'm just going to let you do that for a minute in the part of you that is sore. Gently send breath to both. When you're ready, you can put your arms by your side and we'll get ready for the next installation.